If you're over 40 and you're eating healthy but still can't lose weight, there's a good chance that your healthy diet is part of the reason you're stuck. And that doesn't mean that healthy food is a problem, obviously. It just means that a lot of the nutrition advice we've been given over the last few decades focuses on eating less, avoiding certain foods, and keeping calories as low as possible. And that approach might improve the quality of your diet on paper, but it doesn't always support your metabolism. I coach busy professionals over 40 every day, and I see this constantly. People tell me they eat salads, oatmeal, smoothies, low fat yogurt, and they rarely eat dessert. Then they tell me they have no energy, they're hungry all the time, they're losing muscle, and the scale is not moving. Today, I want to talk through 4 healthy eating habits that I see holding people back, and more importantly, what we should be focusing on instead, especially if you're over 40 and are looking to get leaner. Let's start with one of the biggest ones that I see. So, many healthy breakfasts are actually very low in protein. So, it's things like oatmeal with berries, avocado toast, granola, smoothie bowls, even salads for lunch. They're all perfectly healthy foods. The problem is that they don't provide enough protein to support muscle growth and muscle maintenance. And as we get older, maintaining muscle becomes more important, not less, because muscle helps determine how many calories you're going to burn each day at rest, it improves blood sugar control, it helps you stay strong, and it's going to make everyday life easier as well. It's going to keep you functional and independent for, the decades to come. So if you're not eating enough protein, your body's going to have a way harder time maintaining that muscle, and building muscle is going to be almost impossible. That's one reason I encourage my clients to build every meal around a quality protein source first. So this is usually things like eggs, but if you don't really want something savory in the morning, it can be Greek yogurt, it can be added chicken, beef, fish, even something like cottage cheese. Then we're going to look at adding carbohydrates, vegetables, fruits, and healthy fats around that protein source. And it's a simple change, but it often makes people feel fuller for longer. It's going to help you recover from training, and it's going to give you a much better chance of preserving muscle while losing body fat. And one quick rule that works really well is aiming for around 30 grams of protein at breakfast. So all of my clients are on this protocol. I help them build that out so they know what that could look like for them. But that one habit alone is often going to change the rest of your day because hunger is going to become much easier to manage. Energy levels are going to be more stable, and you're front loading your protein so that it's easier to get enough protein throughout the day. Okay, and then for number 2, this one can actually be really surprising, but some of the people who struggle the most to lose weight are actually eating very little. They spent years trying to do low calorie diets, things like skipping breakfast, having a small lunch, having salad for dinner, maybe one cheat meal on the weekend, and then just running that, sometimes for decades if they can. And the problem with this is that your body adapts to that. So when you're constantly under eating, you usually move less without realizing it. Your workout quality is going to go down. Recovery is going to slow down. You're going to be more hungry. You're going to have more cravings. And you're more likely to lose muscle alongside body fat, which we've just talked about is not going to be a good thing. And all of those things are going to make fat loss harder over time. I was speaking with one of my clients actually last week on a call, and she said she's been restricting calories for close to 40 years now. So when we started working together 6 months ago, one of the first things we did was actually increase how much she was eating. And it probably sounds backwards, but instead of chasing the scale every week, we started looking at other markers along with this increased calorie intake. And some of the things we've improved so far are her strength. So her lifts in the gym have gone way up. Her measurements are coming down. So that's like her hip to waist ratio. That's all improving. Her clothes are fitting better, and she has more energy throughout the day as well. And in the next phase of coaching, we're planning to increase her food again because everything is moving in the right direction. And she said she's eating more than essentially she ever has since she was a kid. So sometimes eating more gives your body what it needs to train harder, recover properly, and hold on to muscle. And that's going to be a much better long term strategy than spending years trying to survive on as little food as possible. And I'm not saying everyone needs to eat more. There's definitely cases where we do want to restrict food a little bit, but I'm saying eating less shouldn't automatically be the go to move. Now, this one is another trend that has become really common. So, people are replacing meals with things like protein bars, meal replacement shakes, protein cereal, low calorie snack packs, all of those like healthy foods that are popping up everywhere. And again, these foods can absolutely have a place. I definitely use them myself when convenience matters. So, if I'm traveling or usually, yeah, if I'm away from home or I'm short on time, I will use them, but they shouldn't be making up most of your diet. Your body still needs real food. So things like meat, eggs, fruit, potatoes, rice, vegetables, yogurt. These are the foods that are going to give you vitamins, minerals, fiber, healthy fats, and protein all in one package. They also tend to keep you full for much longer. Like imagine eating a steak versus eating a protein bar. You're probably going to stay a lot fuller after you have the steak. And I find that when clients start building meals around real food instead of these packaged convenience foods, They naturally snack less because they're actually satisfied after eating, which is a great outcome. And healthy eating isn't just about finding the lowest calorie version of everything. It's about building meals that leave you feeling satisfied for the next 4 or 5 hours so that you're not having to graze between meals. The last mistake is avoiding carbohydrates. Now, carbs have developed a pretty bad reputation, but carbohydrates aren't the reason most people struggle to lose weight. In fact, the right carbohydrates often help people perform better in the gym, recover faster, and maintain more muscle, which is going to make your whole journey a whole lot easier. So, carbs are things like potatoes, rice, fruit, honey, sourdough bread. All of these are going to provide fuel for your body and especially fuel for your workouts. When you train harder, you recover properly, and you maintain your muscle, your body's generally in a much better position to lose fat. I see so many people remove carbohydrates because they think it's the right thing to do, because it's definitely been one of the mainstream threads over the last few decades is that carbs are the enemy. And then these people are wondering why they're tired, their workouts are really hard, and they're constantly craving sugar in the evening. So instead of fearing carbs, we want to focus on eating quality sources in portions that are going to match your activity level. So having more on training days, having fewer carbs on rest days. And this approach is going to make it much easier to stick to for the years to come. So, if you're over 40, healthy eating isn't just about cutting calories or avoiding certain foods. Your nutrition needs to support your metabolism. That means eating enough protein, eating enough food overall, choosing mostly real food, and using carbohydrates strategically instead of fearing them. If you've been eating healthy for months, but you're still frustrated by your progress, take a closer look at these 4 areas because you might find that your diet doesn't need to become stricter, it just needs to support your body better. If you found this helpful, subscribe to the channel because every week I share practical science-backed strategies to help busy professionals over 40 lose fat, build muscle, and create a lifestyle they can actually stick with for the long term. And if you have any questions about what we covered here, just put them in the comments and I'll make sure to get them answered.